going on, and welcome back. So today we've got a lot to do on Project Stepchild, but first we got to deal with F-150. It is in need of an oil change, and I did want to cover this, not necessarily the oil change itself, but what I'm using and why and where I found the information. So without talking a whole lot, let's get into what I'm going to use for the oil change on the F-150 and Project Stepchild. So as you guys probably already know, I'm sure, my F-150, it does have the Coyote engine, and of course Project Stepchild, it has a Coyote engine as well. Now the oil that is called for is a 5W20. That's what it calls for in both vehicles, but we are going to deviate from that a little bit. I'm going to run a 5W30. So I did a little research. What I was looking for, what oil to run with a supercharger on Project Stepchild, but it just so happens that the F-150 needs an oil change as well. So I figured, why not run the same oil? It should benefit both vehicles. So I did a little research, was looking around, and I found a thread on Mustang 6G where a guy had suggested to go read this blog that was put out. I'll put information in the description and a link to the blog so that you guys can get to it. I can't really go into all the specifics because, you know, it's an engineering thing and I'm not an engineer, so I don't want to get into all the details, but the oil that I chose ranked really high in testing that this blogger had done with oil. Now he's an engineer and he knows a hell of a lot more than I do. He did extensive testing, and the big thing about his testing was to find the oil that will best protect the engine against friction and like shearing of metal, you know, metal surfaces and like bearings and whatnot. From what I gathered, that was the main point of his test. You've got to fight engine wear primarily with the oil. Now there's other properties and other things that it helps protect against, like heat and stuff like that, but the main thing is the lubrication. You know, it has to lubricate. That is its main job. Now let me show you what I chose. Now what I chose was Quaker State Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic DXOS Gen 2. Not sure what all that means. Like I said, that blog has a long description of the oils, the testing, why certain oils rank higher than others, and he tested so many different oils and so many different weights of oil. It is a very long read. I didn't read the entire thing, but I did read a good portion of it to make what I would say an educated guess as to what oil I wanted to use, and this oil ranked really high. He suggests this oil as well for daily drivers, high performance engines. He is an engine builder, he is a racer, he has used this personally himself, so I figured, well, it seems like this guy is educated. I mean, I could ask the question and people could debate it for days on what oil to use. This is what I went with, the 5W30 Quaker State Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic. So that's what I went with, and of course I chose to go with a Motorcraft filter. Now I don't know if that's the best. He also talked about filters, I believe, in that blog, but I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on the Motorcraft. No real, you know, education or facts behind that. It's just what I've stuck with over the years with, you know, all the Mustangs and Fords that I've had. But that's what we're going to put in both vehicles, in the F-150 and Project Stepchild. So like I said, I didn't want to make this like a how-to video on how to do an oil change in an F-150, but you know, I did want to make this video just because this subject, I believe, is pretty important. You know, there are so many varying opinions on what oil to use. I mean, I started researching, you know, what to use for Project Stepchild for the supercharger, and there's just so many opinions. You know, I was just as lost after reading threads and information online than I was when I started looking. So not till actually this morning when I ran across the thread and a member of the forums posted a link to this blog, not until today did I find that, and you know, decided what oil I was going to use for both vehicles. I consider the Coyote engine a high performance engine. Now in the truck. You know, it's not going to be for racing, anything like that, but it will see towing, so it will see a lot of load, a lot of stress on the engine. So that's why I decided to go with this oil on or in that truck as well as in Project Stepchild, because it ranks so high, and this guy actually uses it in his high performance, you know, racing engines, whatever he builds or whatnot. So I figured I couldn't go wrong. There are so many good oils out there. I don't think you can go wrong, like totally wrong, but I think this is a very educated decision that I made here. So this is what I'm gonna use. And man, let's get busy on this oil change, because I got to get that done first, and then we're going to move on to stuff with Project Stepchild. Now, one other thing I want to mention about this oil, not only did it come highly recommended by this blogger, but you can also get it at Walmart. It is readily available at Walmart, and it is like, I think 18 or 19 bucks for the 5-quart jug. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me, you know. Relatively cheap. Now you do have to buy like 8 quarts. I believe the Coyote takes 8 quarts. You have to buy 2 jugs. I bought 2 jugs for each car. So as far as an oil change goes, it's not the cheapest thing to do. It is a full synthetic, but I think it is relatively cheap compared to some other oils, and like I said, available at Walmart. So you know, they would have probably about the best pricing. He did say in his blog that in other places the oil was a lot more, you know, part stores or whatnot. Said the oil was definitely a lot more in other places. So he did test the oil from Walmart. He bought it from Walmart to test to make sure they had, you know, genuine Quaker State oil, this, you know, this particular blend. So yeah, cheap, great oil, no brainer. All right, so I'm in the process of draining the oil out of the F-150, and I want to kind of show you guys something I noticed underneath here. As if you can see right there, it looks like a cool little passageway that the filter will drain into. I'm not sure if you can see it there. I can't see in there from this angle, but looks like a cool little diversion, I guess you could say, for the oil once you pull the filter. But that didn't quite work that way, because it is actually dripping out from the backside there. If you can see that, started coming out there and right onto the floor. So had to put the pan there because barely any was coming out of here, a little bit. So I put the rag on there on the floor to catch it. But I thought that was cool at first. I was like, cool, all the oil's just going to come through there. I set the pan there, pull the filter, no problem. But yeah, no, it runs out the back. So anyway, just a little tidbit want to show you, if in case you have an F-150 and are curious what that's for. I think that's what that's for, but doesn't work too well because most of it's coming out of the back. Oh, this truck is too tall. Oh, spilled it. That sucks. If I had help, I need a ladder or something. Oh hey, ask and you shall receive. I'm gonna spill it again. I think I spilled it again. Into the last drop. I got sweat all over my fender. Drip sweat all over my fender. Could be a hit song. Oh, I'm gonna spill this again. You know it. Don't spill, don't spill. Oh, ah, don't spill. Ah, that spilled. Shit. Oh, making a mess. That should be 8. Where's the dipstick? Gosh, way over there. Let's see. It's sweat all over the place. Get in there. In your hole. So that is right at 8 quarts. The oil filter, I didn't fill it prior to installing it. I don't ever do that. Some people do. But when you crank it up, make sure you got pressure, let it run, and then check the level again, make sure we're good. Spilled it, man. Golly. Crank her up, see if we got pressure. God, could they use a thinner dipstick? Jeez. Hell, looks like we're good, right in the middle of the hash marks. So there we go, oil is changed in the F-150. I did spill some, which sucks. I hate doing that. Anyway, but glad we got it done. Definitely need to change it, especially after traveling to Ford Takeover. I think I put well over 1,200 miles on it, and I had some mileage on it prior to, and then of course, you know, mileage put on the truck afterwards. So it was time for an oil change. And like I said, I made my decision based on the blog that I'm going to link again down in the description so you guys can check it out. Sorry I don't know the guy's name. I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to that. It is a very long blog, and I checked it out this morning before I left to go get the oil and stuff, so I was kind of in a little hurry. But anyway, just to show you what I use to decide what oil to use in my Coyote engines, whether it be the truck, Project Stepchild, whatever. That way you can make an informed decision for yourself on what you'd like to run. Like I said, there's lots of great oils out there, and I don't think you can go wrong with a lot of them, but this is a very extensive test that this guy did. There are testimonials on there that you'll see. I think it's good information, and I think it's factual, so that's why I based my decision off of it. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully I can get this article out there. He's had over 700,000 something views of it. Hopefully that'll help you out and help you decide what to use for your Coyote engine. But that's going to do it for this one. Hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We got more stuff coming, Project Stepchild, and we'll see you on the next one.